Hi again, everyone. This is Tim from Cleveland Baseball Fan 879, and this is game number 29 of the 1972 Roberto Clemente Race to 3,000 Hits Stratomatic Super Advanced Replay. Today's game, the Pirates will be heading to, I believe, Busch Stadium to face the St. Louis Cardinals, and today's pitching matchup is at least the Cardinals pitcher you've seen recently in this replay if you've been following along. It's Steve Blass for the Pirates and Reggie Cleveland for the Cardinals. And the Cardinals have made a trade with the Cincinnati Reds. I will let you know of that person who was traded and who he was traded for when they come up in the batting order. All right, and the weather effects. So we are in St. Louis today on a night game on May 23rd, 1972. So 1 to 5 is good, 6 to 15 average, and 16 to 20 is bad. And we have a 16, so not great weather today. Unseasonably cool tonight in May, which maybe in St. Louis happens. All right, so bad. Ballpark singles are 1 to 10 for lefties, 1 to 4 for righties. Ballpark home runs, there will be none for left-handed hitters, and a 1 to 2 for right-handed hitters. So maybe, who knows? All right, now onto the game. Here's Reggie Cleveland to face Dave Cash. And against a righty, that's a ground ball to the shortstop, and that is Ed Crosby. Will throw out. Cash one away, and here's Vic Davalillo, the left fielder. And that's into center field for a base hit. Cleveland is a -2. Simmons is a -1. So... and they're going to hold him on, so they're going to still try to do it. -5 total. He'd be 1 to 14. We're going to try to get a lead for Davalillo. Not a chance. All right, so they will hold him on. And here's Roberto Clemente. Spoiler alert if you don't want to know what he needs. 71 games remaining. Needs 79 hits and 298 plate appearances. Havoc roll for Cleveland. Nothing on the 17. Here's Clemente. 2 and a 7. Ground ball to the shortstop, and that's Crosby to Ted Sizemore on to that is Matty Alou at first base. Inning double play. So Clemente is retired, and that retires the side. After half inning, it's the Pirates nothing and the Cardinals coming to bat. All right, leading off and playing left field is Lou Brock. There's the pitch to Brock. And that's into the gap. 1 to 7 is a double. And that's a leadoff double for Lou Brock. It will definitely hold him on. All right. No, we're not going to do that because it'd be -4 for being held on, and off the second steal rating, not happening. Nothing on the Havoc roll. And here's Ted Sizemore. And that's a ground ball to third. I believe he stays where he is. Yep. So Richie Hebner making his return to the lineup. Looks Brock back. Throws to first to get Sizemore, 1 away. Here's Matty Alou. And a 1 to 5. This is a wild pitch. And Brock goes to third on the wild pitch. Nothing on the 16. And here's Alou. 1 and a 6. And that's stroked into center field. Would have scored Brock anyway because it's a 2-star single. And the Cardinals are out to a 1-0 lead. And Alou will... Yeah, I know you have to... Like, Demo's brought up a good point in some of his games. You have to kind of do this to see if you get the caught stealings. So, capped at -5, because you got -4 for Blass and -2 for Sanguian. So he'd be 50-50 to try to steal if he gets the jump. He doesn't get in anyway, so they will hold him on. And here's Joe Torre. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 7. And here's Torre. 5 and a 5. 10% home run chance. And he gets it. So Joe Torre has taken Blass deep, and it is already 3-0 Cardinals. Stadium cheers. All right, so not a good first inning for Blass. It's only retired one batter. Here's Ted Simmons. And that's a ballpark single chance against the lefty, 50-50. And he gets it. So D20 going the Cardinals' way so far. And here's the man who was just traded from the Cincinnati Reds to the Cardinals for Joe Haig, Bernie Carbo playing right field. Nothing on the 7. And struck him out. 2 away. For Luis Melendez, the center fielder. Balk or pass ball chance. Balk chance 1-2. Nothing on the 14, so no balk. And let's see, Simmons, I don't think it's... No. Be a 3 or a 9. And even then he'd be -1-6. No. Three and a 9's a weak ground ball to second, and Cash retires Melendez to retire the side. But the Cardinals strike first and lead 3-0 after 1. And here is Willie Stargell to face Reggie Cleveland. Here's Stargell. 4 and an 8 lefty. That's ripped into right field. And a leadoff single for Stargell. And he will not be held on. He'd be 50-50 anyway, so. No, they will not hold him on. Here's Al Oliver. Nothing on the 9. 3 and a 10. Ground ball to first. That's Alou to Crosby. We'll say Cleveland covers. We'll go 3-6-1 on the double play. 2 away, and let's hope this isn't that type of day for the Pirates. Here's Richie Hebner back in the lineup after a few games' absence. And it's a high pop-up. First base side, the first baseman, Alou, calls for it and makes the catch And that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the second. Cardinals 3, Pirates nothing. And Blass will face Ed Crosby to lead off the bottom of the second. He faces 8, 9, and 1 here in the bottom of the second. 5 and a 7. Fly ball to center field. And Oliver retires Ed Crosby. Here's Reggie Cleveland, pitcher rating card number 4, a weak power right-handed hitter. One to 6 single chance. And the D20's coming up roses for the Cardinals so far. As Cleveland reaches, he will not be held on. And here's Lou Brock. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Nothing on the 9. Five and a 4. Ballpark single chance. He's a lefty, so 50-50. And another one comes in. And now they will have to hold all the runners as Brock gets his second hit. Here's Ted Sizemore. Nothing on the 17. Six and an 8. Popped him up. Shortstop Gene Alley calls for it. And he retires Sizemore 2 down. Here's Matty Alou. Chance to extend the Cardinals' lead. But he does have a couple of anti-clutches on his card. Actually, 3 of them in the 2 column. 3 and a 7's a fly ball to center field. And Al Oliver makes his second put out of the inning. And that retires the side. The Cardinals strain 2 and do not score. And we go to the top of the third. Pirates trailing 3-0. And bottom third of the order for the Pirates do up Sanguillen, Alley, and Blass. And here's Reggie Cleveland. So we'll redo that. All dice have to go through the tower. And that's a ground ball to the shortstop. Ed Crosby retires Sanguillen 1 away. Here is Gene Alley. And swung on and missed. Struck him out. First strikeout for Reggie Cleveland. Here's the pitcher, Steve Blass, using pitcher rating card number 3, right-handed hitter. Right-handed hitter. So 411 will be a 1 to 4 chance for a single. And not on a 6. So that would be, we'll say that's a single to left field. So we'll say it's a line drive to the shortstop. And that will retire the side. So Cleveland has faced the minimum through 3. And we go to the bottom of the third. Cardinals lead 3-0. Torrey, Simmons, and Carbo do up here in the bottom of the third. Torrey hit a 2-run homer his last time up. And here is and that's a second base chance for Cash to range. 11 is fine. E8. E8 and a 16. Yes, there is. So Cash, normally dependable, throws one away. And sort of maybe nonchalanted it there. And Torrey reaches on an air. He will not be held on. Let's see. -7. We went to 13. No. All right. Havoc roll for Simmons. Nothing on the 5. And that's a 1 to 8 home run chance. Kiss it goodbye. All right, so actually there are nobody out here. So another 2 runs, so 5 runs allowed by Blass in 2 innings. Well, he's not considered tired. It's 5 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs in 3 consecutive innings. All right, here's Bernie Carbo. We'll redo that. And against a lefty, that's a 1 to 14 single chance. And the D20 first time doesn't go right for the Cardinals. Ground ball to the shortstop, and Alley retires Carbo. 1 away. Could say that one could be a bang-banger, as Ron Jeckett likes to say. Here's Luis Melendez, grounded out his first time up. Swung on and missed, struck him out. 2 down. Here's Ed Crosby, flew out his first time up. Get the name on there. And he hit him. Well, it's good news for the Cardinals, because even if Cleveland makes an out, you start the order over again in the next half inning. So here's Reggie Cleveland. Singled his first time up. Nothing on the 4. Three and a 9. And that's a base hit for Cleveland. So Cleveland having himself a day at the plate. Crosby moves to third. Runners on the corners with 2 down for Lou Brock. Nothing on the 8. And that's a fly ball to center field, and that will retire the side. Cardinals get 2 more runs here in the bottom of the 3rd and lead 5-0 after 3. And Cleveland will face the top of the order again. Cash, Davalillo, and Clemente. And here is Dave Cash. 6 and a 6. Fly ball to right field. And Bernie Carbo is under it, puts it away, 1 down. Here's Vic Davalillo, one of 2 hits for the Pirates so far. So we will redo that. Six and a 10 against a lefty. That's a weak ground ball to second. And the second baseman Sizemore retires Davalillo, 2 away. And here's Roberto Clemente. And the same roll he got as the first time, the 2-7 field goal roll, is a ground ball to the shortstop, this time not for a double play, but still retires the side. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. And it's 5-0. Essentially, you're just hoping that Blass can get you till maybe like the 5th or the 6th. Possibly, or when he's due up the next time to bat. Here's Ted Sizemore. Sizemore 0 for 2 on the day. And it's a bouncer to third. Richie Hebner retires Sizemore again. 1 away. Here's Matty Alou, singled and flown out in 2 appearances. Getting a lot of 5 rolls. Pitcher chance for Blass. He's a 2. That was a 5. So 2 range on Blass. That's fine. 9. It's G3. Blass is an E11. E11 and an 11. 12, 15, 16, and 18. So Blass gets off the mound. Rose at the first. Nice play by Sturgill at first to play it off the hop, and that retires Matty Alou 2 down. Here's Joe Torre. And that's not the right column for Torre if you're a Cardinals fan. That's a fly ball to center, and Al Oliver calls for it and makes the catch to retire the side. We are through 4 complete. Cardinals 5, Pirates nothing. And heart of the order due up for the Pirates, Sturgill, Oliver, and Hebner. This is actually Cleveland's better start than, spoiler alert, what happened last time. Here's Willie Sturgill. 1 and an 8. Struck him out. Right column for Sturgill, wrong number. Here's Al Oliver. And that's a bouncer to first. And Alou says, I have it. And he will step on the base himself. 2 down for Richie Hebner. And that's a fly ball to right field, but there is Carbo. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Pirates. That is 11 in a row retired by Reggie Cleveland. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Score still, Cardinals 5, Pirates nothing. And this will be it for Blass, as he is due up 3rd in the inning. We will go with, though he's not rated. No, actually. Yeah, we can go with Nelson Briles out of the bullpen. Let me make sure I can do that timeout. All right, so actually Briles is considered, he'll be the 3rd in line starter, so I cannot use him. So we will think of something else here. All right, so Blass will face Simmons, Carbo, and Melendez here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's a pitch to Simmons. Let's see here. Against a lefty, that's a ballpark single chance, 1-10. And Ted Simmons has another single. 3 for 3, 2 singles and a homer. They will not hold Simmons on. Bertie Carbo up. He is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. How about 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts? And here's Luis Melendez. They may try to get 6. Nah. All right, here's Melendez. Have a cool. Nothing on the 9. Here's Luis Melendez. That's a ground ball to 3rd. They go to 2nd to get Simmons, but Melendez will be safe at 1st. 2 down. Let's see here. No, they won't have him steal. Here's Ed Crosby. Nothing on the 7. And that's a ground ball to the first baseman, Stargell. He throws the Blass covering, and that will retire the side. Through 5 complete. It is 5-0 Cardinals. And I think that will be it for Blass. We will go with Bruce Keeson out of the bullpen. All right, so here's Manny Sanguillen to lead off the top of the 6th. Grounded out his first time up. And that's a line drive, but right to the second baseman, Sizemore. 1 away. Here's Gene Alley. And that's a base hit for Alley. Solid single up the middle. Only the 3rd hit for the Pirates. And yes, definitely now is an opportunity to we'll bring on Milton May, the pinch hit for Steve Blass. All right. And Keeson is waiting in the bullpen. All right. So here's May, Havoc roll. Nothing on the 6. Then a 5 and a 12. First base chance, Alou is a 4. Yes, he is. 4 and an 11. He is not holding on Alley. No. All right, so he gets to keep the 4 range. And actually the 4 range for an 11 is outside of the pound signs anyway, so he will field it. And Alou is an E18. And there should not be a 10. No, 11, 12, 14, and 17. But that's a little squibber up the first baseline. And we'll just say that's a 3 unassisted as he tags May going to first base. Going to second is Alley. It's almost a swinging bunt there. 2 down. And back to the top of the order. Here's Dave Cash, 0 for 2, ground out and a fly out. And ground ball to the shortstop, and that will retire the side. So Pirates strand 1, and through 5.5, it's still the Cardinals 5 and the Pirates nothing. And here comes Bruce Keeson to replace Steve Blass. He will face his fellow pitcher, Reggie Cleveland, followed by Lou Brock and Ted Sizemore. Keeson will finish his warm-up tosses. Cleveland is 2 for 2 with 2 singles, so you can see why he's got pitcher hitting card number 4. Four and a 9. Well, he's weak power. So 1 to 2 would be a single, fly out the rest. And he gets a single. 3 for 3 for Reggie Cleveland. Don't know if he ever, I doubt he ever had a 3-hit day in real MLB. All right, here's Lou Brock. Nothing on the 3. Struck him out. 1 away. Here's Ted Sizemore. 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a pop out. And that's to Clemente. We'll roll it just to see in case there's a 1 for to advance. Nope. Okay, so 5. And as long as it's not a 3 or a 17, this will be an out. That's a 4. So Clemente makes the catch. 2 down for Medialoo. Nothing on the 7. Four and an 11 lefty ballpark blast. But lefties are getting the poor end of the stick, I guess we'll call it, because of the poor weather in St. Louis, or bad weather in St. Louis. Lefties get a 0. So that's a fly ball to right field. Wind must be blowing in. And that will retire the side. Going to the top of the 7th, Davolio, Clemente, and Stargell do up for the Pirates. This is the point of weakness inning for Cleveland. Though he has pitched an absolute masterpiece, 1 over the minimum. See if maybe 3rd time through the order, maybe the Pirates can get to Cleveland. All right, here's Davolio. 1 for 2. And a second base chance for Sizemore. He's a 3. 3 and a 4. That will likely be a single. Yes, it is. E21 for Sizemore. Ooh, E21 and a 4. And there is a 4, so that he compounds his problem. Single, and then he throws it away, and going to second is Davolio. Now it's Roberto Clemente, 0 for 2. Praying he doesn't get another 2-7 roll. Nope, 3-6. Fly ball to center field. And retiring Clemente is Luis Melendez. 1 away. Here is Willie Stargell. Nothing on the 20. Five and a 7 lefty struck him out. Second time Stargell's gone down on strikes. That would be strikeout. Only 3rd strikeout for Cleveland. And here's Al Oliver. Nothing on the 18. Two and an 8. Bouncer to first. And Alou steps on the base himself. Stretch time here in St. Louis. And we'll just get right to the bottom of the 7th here. You want to sing your Take Me Out to the Ball Game? You go right ahead. All right, Keeson will essentially be in until he has to bat. All right, so Torrey, Simmons, and Carbo. Torrey homered, reached on an error, and flew out, so 1 for 3, and scored 2 runs. And that's a swing and a miss. Struck him out. As Keeson begins his 2nd inning of work. There's Ted Simmons. So we'll redo that. And against a lefty, that's a fly ball to center field. Al Oliver retires Simmons, 2 away. And here's Bernie Carbo, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And how about 0 for 4 with the hat trick, 3 strikeouts. This would have been during the time of the St. Louis Blues. So to the top of the 8th we go. And Cleveland will still come out. I mean, he's only given up 1 point against this point of weakness, so he can still give up 3 more before being considered tired. Hebner, Sanguian, and Alley do up. Here's Richie Hebner. And that's a 1-16 single chance. And the D20 not going the way of the Pirates. Nice diving stop by Sizemore, shows the ball in the glove, and Hebner is retired. Here's Manny Sanguian, 0 for 2 himself. And that's not a clutch at bat, so ground ball to the shortstop. And Ed Crosby retires Sanguian, 2 away. There's Manny Sanguian. And that's to the shortstop. Crosby's a 4. Fine on the 20. Crosby is an E16. And a not so rare play on a G1. Just ground out. So, Alley is retired. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. They will let Keeson try to just finish out the game. Pitch 3 innings in relief and save the bullpen a little bit. All right. So Keeson will face Melendez, Crosby, and Cleveland. Yeah, we'll let... He's faced 26 batters, so 2 over the minimum. Definitely let him go. All right, here's Luis Melendez. And he hit him. So second player hit by Pirates pitching, first by Keeson. Here's Ed Crosby. Not looking to lay down a bunt here, up 5-0. Not going to hit and run either. And he hits Crosby. And if he hits the next guy, we'll say it's an automatic ejection. Warnings have been given out. In fact, we'll call it now. The next pitcher who hits the next hit by pitch by anybody, automatic ejection. Sort of house rule I'm going to make up on the fly. And there's nobody out. So first and second, nobody out. And here's Reggie Cleveland. All he's done is gone 3 for 3 with 3 singles. Nothing on the 18. No hit by pitch here. 5-7 against a righty. And against a right-hander, swung on and missed, struck him out. He walks the lefties, but strikes out the righties. All right, now Lou Brock up with first and second. Nothing on the 4. And that's a base hit into left field. Melendez not being held on makes him a 16. Left fielder Davalillo plus arm 1-17. They're going to send Melendez. And at this point, you got to throw home to prevent any other runs from scoring. Both runners will move up, but 1-17 17, Melendez, or 1 to 17, Melendez is safe. Anything higher, he is out. And he is safe on the 1. RBI single for Lou Brock. Everybody moves up on the throw. Second and third, infield will be brought in for Ted Sizemore. Nothing on the 20. Here's Sizemore. Popped him up. Got him up the chute. 2 away. Wow, that could have been damaging. Infield back to normal for Matty Alou. Nothing on the 4. 5 and an 11. Lefty ballpark single chance. 50-50 shot. And he gets it, so adding yet another run will be Ed Crosby. 7-0. Cardinals lead. There's runners on the corners for Joe Torre. Balker pass ball chance. Balk chance. Keeson's a 1-3. Nothing on the 14. Ramon Hernandez is loosening. If another hit happens, we'll bring in Hernandez just to finish off the game. 6 and a 6. He walked, and we're going to bring in Hernandez anyway just to try to finish up the game here. So out comes Keeson. In comes Ramon Hernandez. Actually, can we double switch? Yeah, we're going to double switch, actually. So, Rennie Stennett will come in to play shortstop. And then the pitcher spot for Hernandez will bat 8th. All right, so let's get that taken care of. All right. So bases loaded, 2 down, 2 runs already in. Here's Ted Simmons. 2 singles and a homer today. As the D20 wants to go running away. 1-2 wild pitch. Not on the 18. Here's Simmons. Lefty 6-6, or righty 6-6, popped him up. Shortstop Stennett makes the catch and retires the side. But the Cardinals add 2 more. And barring a miracle, 7-0 Cardinals. That would easily be one of my biggest comebacks, even in a single inning, if it does occur. Cleveland will come out. He will face Rennie Stennett, Dave Cash, and Vic Davalillo. Six and an 8 against a righty. Fly ball to center field. 1 down. Here's Vic Davalillo. And that's a 1-2 triple chance. Single the rest. Single for Davalillo, and he will just be held on. He will not try to do anything. Oops, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's try that again. That's Cash there. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's see what 2-5 is for. 2-5 for Cash is not a single. 2-5 for cash is a fly ball to left field. So thankfully did not make the mark in my scorecard yet. So corrected in time. 2-5 is a fly ball to left field. Now if we get a 2-5 for Davalillo, you will know the result. All right, 2 down. Now Davalillo is your last hope. Two and a 12, and not the last hope. He draws a walk. He has reached base 3 times today. And for now to the guy who's not reached base, here's Roberto Clemente. He will be held on, but actually will not be held on. 7-0. If he wants to go for it, then no, they will not. All right, here's Clemente. And for the 3rd time today, he hits the 2-7 roll. And that will end the game. Frustrating day for Clemente and the Pirates as they lose this one 7-0. Be right back with the details. 7 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. No runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Pirates. Steve Blass, your losing pitcher, went 5, gave up 5. We'll say 3 earned runs because the run from Torrey wouldn't have scored without an error. Same with Simmons. Or maybe just 4 earned runs. I don't know. And then Keeson gave up the other 2. And Reggie Cleveland goes the distance, scattering 4 hits over 9 innings for the win. All right, the next game will be a continuation of the series against the Cardinals. It will be Bob Moose against Scipio Spinks. All right, and that's all for this game. Please leave a like if that helps the video to be seen. If you would like to leave a comment, please do so. This will probably be one of my quicker games. And if you've not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and click on the notification to receive all notifications whenever a video comes out. And whatever game you are playing, please enjoy to your fullest. Have a good day, everybody.